Okay, so quick question. When I say Marilyn Monroe, what's the first thing you think of?
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Can you sing Happy Birthday, Ms. Monroe?
No, she's saying it like so seductive, didn't she?
A little breathy. Yeah. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Wait, I just saw something on Marilyn Monroe recently. Why?
You know why? Because she's turning 100.
Oh.
And that's what we're doing, right? So here, you just played into
Okay,
my
here
whole,
we are.
this is it. This is why we're doing the episode today. But here's the problem with how we started. The whole Happy Birthday, Mr. President, or the whole like white dress and the subway grate, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
is like, woo.
That's what we remember Marilyn Monroe for, right? Her face and her body. And
I mean, she was a sex symbol.
Yes, Playboy, the whole thing, right?
Platinum blonde.
Arguably the most photographed woman in the world.
Really?
I would say. Mm-hmm. Faces everywhere, right? I mean, come on.
Well, iconic.
But here's the thing. So I did all this in honor of like her 100th birthday, and I realized we don't know anything about her. Like nobody gives two shits to learn.
She was murdered.
No, not that she was. Well, of course, you conspiracy theorist. And we got that out of the way early, Jeanette. Thank you very much. Murder mystery. No, there's so much more to this woman. I'm going to argue that was a character she played her entire life. She put on the character in the morning when she woke up. That's how good she really was. So when I went down this rabbit hole, it was insane. So stick with us because here's what we're going to dive into today. First, we're going to learn the real backstory of who Marilyn Monroe really was and why she spent all her free time, Amanda, studying philosophy at UCLA and reading Tolstoy. Huh. Yes, there's a lot here. Okay, second, the 4 moves she made that were genuinely radical for her time, like in the 1940s and 1950s, that most of us never even cared to learn about because we're all just staring at her picture somewhere. And finally, what this all says about us and the way we consume women and whether we've actually gotten any better at it in 2026.
I'm going to say no.
I'm kind of agreeing with you.
No?
After this whole thing, I kind of am agreeing with you. Yeah. And on that note, welcome to another episode of Sort of Sophisticated, the podcast where culture, curiosity, and chaos collide. I'm Pete, and with me, as always, driving me nuts is Amanda.
What would you do without me?
Hi, Amanda.
Hello, everyone.
I don't know what I would do without you. I would probably fold this podcast, number 1. 2, I would never have any more parties. That would just, my party planner's gone. 3, I probably wouldn't go on vacations anymore.
That's not true.
Right? Who am I traveling with? You're my travel buddy.
Yeah.
4, no more therapy. So I don't even know who'd be.
We would lose a lot. Our life would be very boring without each other.
Well, my life would be very. No. You would have. I would argue yours would get much more enhanced.
No.
Mine, maybe, on the other hand.
Agree to disagree.
You're being very nice.
There we go.
All right. So our official title today, if you haven't been following, is Marilyn Monroe, the most seen, least known woman in history, because I think she might be the only person in Hollywood who's figured out that being underestimated was actually the strategy. That is my whole Jedi mind trick today.
Okay.
It was her weapon. And you're like, Amanda, you're going to be blown away. Trust me. This is going to be like Miles Davis. You're going to be blown away by the end of this.
I mean, I am actually really excited because, again, I can't remember what it was, but like she had popped up somewhere.
It's coming.
And it was just talking about Marilyn Monroe and.
Yep. Every streaming service is going to be going bonkers.
Little like tidbit, right? Is there a show coming out or something?
It's the whole month of June. They're going to be replaying all of her stuff, right? Every movie she's ever made.
But it was about Men Like Blondes or something like that.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Yes.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Right.
Yeah.
They were talking about that,
yeah.
right? And how she was not paid a lot of money.
Oh, no.
This is all that.
Oh, no. This is my point.
Outside of the Happy Birthday, Mr. President, and that iconic photo of her in her dress, the only other thing I've learned, which was recently somewhere, was this Gentlemen's Prefer Blondes, and she got paid significantly less,
a pittance,
than who the brunette was.
Okay. This is one of my like when I said the 4 things she actually that were radical for her time. This is number 1. Oh yeah, totally.
Oh,
yeah.
But I don't even know why. I just listened to a little bit, and I think it was her last interview maybe that she talked about it. I don't even know, but I was then fascinated, and it literally clicked in my head where I was like, I should learn more about Marilyn Monroe, and it went away. And here we are today.
And we're doing
it's like you read my mind.
We're doing it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is one of those, like, so I think pop culture relevant because it'll be
absolutely.
in sort of streaming and all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was just one of those things where it's like, when would I ever learn about her?
It's true.
And again, more than just learning about some woman or some sex symbol. By the end of this, like I was floored. And to your point earlier, like, are we doing any better in 2026? Spoiler, we're not.
Yeah,
I felt about this big. Oh. Because I'm participating in the whole, like, so it was one of those freak out moments for me again, which I totally loved. So here we are. What are you going to do?
I'm excited. Let's go. Okay. Well, before we start, what is our word of the week? Is it going to be like what is that when you like gawk at somebody?
Gawking. I like gawk.
Okay.
Okay. It's not gawk.
Oogly?
We're not playing into this.
Oogly?
We have to not play it. It's
Oh,
not
okay,
gawk.
okay.
It's not gawk.
I was
Nothing about
I was
gawk.
trying to make it easy for myself. That's all.
Okay.
Here.
It's objurgate.
I'm sorry. And you said you're not playing into this?
Objurgate.
Like we objectify something? Is that what objurgate
No,
is?
not at all. Objurgate. No. Objurgate is to criticize or scold harshly.
Oh, interesting.
I objurgate you.
Oh, interesting.
In the name of the law. I don't know. I objurgate my children all the
Okay.
time, right? Like we're objurgating. So it comes from the Latin objurgare. Ob or ob meaning against and jurgare meaning to quarrel or scold.
Huh.
So if you're
The more you know.
objurgating, you're losing your shit on them. That's
okay.
what usually happens here somewhere in the podcast. So
Okay,
objurgate is it. That's what's happening.
I think you already objurgated at the beginning of this podcast when you scolded me.
I kind of already did.
Okay, here
I
we
know.
are.
It happened. We're done. We just did it just like that.
All right, but before we start, if you like what you're listening to, hit subscribe and follow us. New episodes come out weekly on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Back to our regular scheduled programming. You want to start with the history?
I'm starting with history. We got to do history for this.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
She was
going
born
on
in
here.
a little town in
She was.
Illinois.
She was born in, no.
No.
She was born in Los Angeles, California.
Was she
Yes,
really?
I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah.
She was born in L.A.
L.A., yeah. Marilyn Monroe, born Norma Jean Mortensen, June 1st, 1926, in Los Angeles, California. Town of the Angels. Did you know her name was Norma Jean?
Well, after you just said Norma Jean,
Yeah.
I just realized I knew like 4 Norma Jeans, and now I need to go ask
Now
them.
you know why, right.
Were they named after Marilyn Monroe?
Do you know Elton John? Candle in the Wind?
Yeah.
Goodbye, Norma Jean.
Oh.
Though I
did not know
never
that.
knew you at all. Yeah. That's
Huh.
it. Totally. Yeah.
Fun fact number 1.
Norma Jean.
Done.
There you go. I love that. Okay. So first, this is how this whole thing starts. Wildest data point ever. No parents. Out of the picture.
She's the orphan?
Yes. Yeah. Functionally. Yes, she was an orphan.
But she went to like an orphanage?
Yes, she did. Yeah. So her mom, Gladys Baker, was diagnosed schizophrenic and spent her entire life in mental institutions. So let's just start with that. Dad wasn't around either because it was an affair when Dad decided to do it with Mom, and then he bolted. So she didn't even know Dad. So sort of from the start, she was screwed. So grew up in the foster system
Okay.
and absolutely ended up in an orphanage in Los Angeles. Do you know there is a Los Angeles home for orphans?
I'm sure there's
I didn't-
tons of orphanages.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, she stayed in the Los Angeles home for orphans. I didn't know that.
Is this when her trajectory kind of went askew because she was bouncing foster home to foster home, and one of the tragic stories we always hear about the foster system?
This is absolutely what happened.
Oh.
Yeah, it fell
So
apart
sad.
quickly. So then I guess fast forward till she was 16, so she's bouncing around. And her last set of foster parents, like on record, were wanted to move out of the state of California. And apparently at that time, the foster kids weren't allowed to leave California. Right? I don't know
That
if
makes
that's,
sense.
I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
yeah.
still a law or not or whatever, but she was like, this is bullshit. And you would think, arguably, her parents would foster parents would stay with her till she was 18 years old. But they were like, yeah, no, we're
Unless
leaving.
she was a meal ticket. Who knows?
So they totally up and left her.
Oh.
And so instead of her going back to an orphanage because she didn't want to do that again because that was a whole shit show, she decides to get married at 16.
16?
Yeah. So
To
she
who?
her neighbor. So she starts knocking on the doors of the neighborhood to
No,
see who
stop
would
it.
marry her. Okay, sort of. But she did marry her neighbor. Yes, Jim Doherty.
And how old was Jim Doherty?
Jim Doherty was 21 years old
And married a 16-year-old.
and married a 16-year-old. She like what are you
I
gonna
mean,
do?
that was probably more acceptable back
She
then.
wanted-
but
she
still
had
not
no other
okay.
choice. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right, which go to the sad part you were all saying, like, this is how she all went askew. They interviewed her later in life about that first marriage, obviously, that didn't work out. Her quote was, "I was dying of boredom the entire marriage," which I find weirdly devastating and like funny all at the same time.
I mean,
Because
she was 16.
right, I don't know what was happening there, but whatever. So, so the time she turns 18, 2 years later, she had already done more shit than like most of us had to deal with in our entire life. Let's be honest. So then in 1944, she's 18 years old, and her husband Jim has to get shipped off to the war because it's World War II, and
Okay.
he's got to go. So Norma Jean decides, what does a military wife do in 1944 if her husband goes to war?
Either becomes a nurse or joins the factory.
Factory. Done and
Oh,
done.
there you
She
go.
went to work in a munitions factory in Van Nuys, California, which is so random that we were right? I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Wasn't LA like an epic center during that time for?
Apparently it was.
Hmm.
So she's in the munitions factory. She's building weapons and bombs or whatever it is. And the story goes, a photographer walks in and he's going to do a piece on women in the home front, like helping the military men. And she immediately lights up in front of the camera, like freaks out. She's hooked. So totally knew she found her passion like right away. Passion, back to our passion. That was it. But it's not like the photographer guy was, he wasn't like, oh, I found somebody. That's not how it worked. She just realized how cool it was. So he left. She went home and started taking all these pictures of herself, starting figuring out like what worked in a camera, what didn't work in a camera, like what the kids are doing nowadays on social media, right? Like figuring all that kind of shit out.
Yeah.
And she was sort of finding her character.
Okay.
That we're talking about here. She started finding her character.
Persona.
Yes. Thank you for persona. Much better word. Yeah. So she starts sending out all these pictures now and seeing like if somebody would take her, like for modeling or whatever. So she gets rejected by 20th Century Fox, then gets rejected by Columbia, then RKO Studios, which, fun fact, RKO Studio, the orphanage she stayed at, Los Angeles Home for Orphans, it was across the street. She would stare at the studio when she was in the orphanage, dreaming one day she would be there. Anyway.
She manifested
Sad story. She manifested, but she got rejected. So,
they didn't take her.
Nobody took her.
Oh.
Right. So my point is nothing was easy. It's not like somebody found her. No, bullshit. None of this happened. So she's banging on doors. So she starts modeling a little bit, small gigs, keeps auditioning for all these little parts. Basically getting up like us, going to work every morning, showing up, doing work during the day.
Grind. Here
yes.
she was.
Yes, absolutely. And eventually in 1951, so I don't know, 51, 23 years old, 24 years old, Fox finally brings her in to start doing small little bit parts, 1 or 2 lines. But here's the thing. The audiences, even though she was only doing 1 or 2 lines, the audiences were eating it up. They loved her. So like, again, that whole camera, that whole presence thing. So roles increase little by little, like nothing major. By 1953, it's on like crazy. It totally explodes and she's everywhere. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. We were talking about it. How to Marry a Millionaire. She's on the cover of all the magazines and she's officially the hot blonde sex symbol come 1953. Everyone's in love with her. That's the story.
How did she create this persona?
I don't know. She just she
like
strapped
why
it.
Marilyn?
Why Marilyn Monroe? Why the name?
Yeah.
Got it. Instead of Norma Jean. Would you like right, okay, there you go.
But at the time, like Norma Jean, I'm sure was
Norma
like a
Jean.
cool, sexy name.
So the story was that both her and 20th Century Fox sort of knew like, hey, we need to come up with something better than Norma Jean. And there was a woman named Marilyn Miller who was a famous Broadway star back in the 1920s. And they said that she sort of looked like her. She thought she looked like her. Somebody at Fox. I don't remember what it was. So they were like, oh my God, Marilyn's awesome. And then she kept Monroe because that was her mother's maiden name. And she wanted to like have a connection to her mom. Yeah. And then alliteration, so Marilyn Monroe. So
totally ambiguous. There was meaning behind it.
Even though she's really Norma Jean Masterson. So go figure. Yeah, that's the story. That's Marilyn.
Oh, I love it. Wait, but you said that Marilyn was radical for the time.
Oh, she was radical.
What did she do?
She was totally radical.
Like, I mean, it just sounds like, okay, so she had a horrible childhood, got married young at 16, somehow stumbled into getting picked up by 20th Century Fox, started making movies, people loved her, adored her, she became the sex symbol, but like, what did she change? What did she...
Well, that's what everybody thought it was, yeah. So, okay, here's move number 1. Here we go, okay? 1954, peak fame after all these movies come out. But like you said at the beginning, since it was the 1950s, men were making like 20 times more than women. So you're absolutely right. Wherever you heard that whole bit was correct. So she was making about $1,500 per movie. And dude, the guys were making hundreds of thousands of dollars already in that time. So not even fair. And she knew she was the biggest draw by far. I told you this woman was smart. She was like, this is bullshit. So she called him out on it. Absolutely walks out on 20th Century Fox. Height of her career. Miles Davis, same concept. Left, goes to New York. Literally just left them high and dry and said, I'm out. I'm going to start a career over in New York. Goodbye.
What was in New York?
Yeah. Here's what was in New York. She decided to open her own studio, her own production studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so 2 things, actually. So first, she studies method acting under Lee Strasberg, who is a super famous director and had the most iconic acting studio in America. So she goes and studies there for a while and like really learns method acting because up to this point, she didn't know anything. And then 2, she started her own production studio. She grabs her friend, some guy named Milton Green, and names it Marilyn Monroe Productions. Because it would be really weird if you named it Milton Green Productions, because of course nobody knows who the hell he was. But anyway, everybody in Hollywood then, obviously 20th Century Fox starts talking shit like, oh, she's never going to make it. Oh, this is never going to work, right? All the media was like, like everything bullshit. She's going to like want her old job back, all the shit. Because people love to hate. Everybody's a hater like that. So her new company goes and makes a new movie called The Prince and the Showgirl in 1957. She's out in New York. Starring her alongside Laurence Olivier, the famous actor Laurence Olivier. Okay. Decent movie. Fun fact, the only movie her studio actually ever made. I'll get back to that in a second. That wasn't the point. The point was now she had leverage because she had a movie, it was awesome, and all of a sudden, 20th Century Fox was like, oh,
We need
shit.
you back.
Yep. Bingo. That's exactly what it was. So would you argue she was a dumb blonde? Or would you argue she knew exactly what she was doing? She had no leverage. She created leverage. They come crying back. They rip up her old contract. They come up with a brand new contract. She has all director rights. She has everything she wants. They change her entire salary structure. And now she's making a gazillion dollars because she decided to make one movie and go out on her own. So I'm arguing she understood business a lot better than most people give her credit for.
Fair.
And it totally worked. So subsequently, she now comes back to Hollywood, totally won. She makes the movie Bus Stop, massively famous movie, even more famous than like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and then ends up shutting down the whole production studio because she doesn't need it anymore because leverage, it all worked. Okay.
Smart
so far,
lady.
so good.
Smart
Very
lady,
smart.
man.
Very smart. Okay, that was the first one. All right,
Starts her own company.
starts her own company, creates
Relaunches
leverage, figures it
her.
out. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Radical move for the time, right? For a woman in the
Yeah.
1940s, 1950s.
Starts her own
whatever you get it.
production company, break away.
Done and done. So second one, we were talking about at the beginning, she studied philosophy at UCLA.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, she homeschooled herself. She was amazing. So in her free time on all these sets, while she was in between takes, she was literally learning everything she could learn. Do you know her own personal library? How many books it had in it?
No. Was she
400.
Oh,
400. And I'm not talking fiction books. I'm talking classics like Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, James Joyce, like legitimate Chekhov, like real authors. Like, did you know she was like friends with Truman Capote? Truman Capote, like the most famous author in American literature, Truman Capote. Not, I knew Truman Capote. Like best friends with Truman Capote.
That's crazy.
You don't hang out with Truman Capote unless you're like.
Well, you got to be some sort of intellect for him.
You know
to
who else
wanna...
hung out with Truman Capote? Harper Lee.
Yeah,
To Kill a Mockingbird. You get that. Like
so she ran in the literary.
Yes.
Like
she
the
was
literary
literally
circles.
she was eating up, like learning all this different crap, and everybody thought she was just screwing off on set, and that not true at all. She was completely two different. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
But
right?
why didn't people know this about her?
It wasn't that people didn't know this about her. People didn't want to know this about her.
She didn't fit in that bubble.
So let's go.
That
Let's
part of
go
it
back
didn't
to
fit
the
in the
beginning
bubble.
where I said, like, what did we learn since 2026 from all this time when we haven't learned anything? People wanted a dumb blonde. A smart lady doing this didn't work. It screwed up the whole persona.
Well, because then you can't objectify somebody.
And bingo. And we needed someone to objectify. And I'm arguing she took advantage of that, was smart enough to recognize it, but then had that character, but then
Filled her cup.
played. Yeah, absolutely.
In her normal
Absolutely,
life.
absolutely, yeah.
Then what's the third one?
Okay, third one I got to be a little careful with because the story's been told like 100 times, and honestly, it's got mangled over the years because this story I had heard before, and I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but it's an easy one to blow out of proportion. So let me just read what's actually documented. So 1954, Ella Fitzgerald, one of the greatest jazz singers in the world who's ever lived, Ella Fitzgerald, was being shut out of certain clubs because she was black. And Marilyn Monroe, who was at the time peak of her career, picks up the phone and uses her name to help Ella get bookings at a little club in East Los Angeles called Tiffany's. Super famous, totally awesome club. Not only that, she subsequently buys a front row table for every night that Ella's performing.
Wow.
She would go and just watch. She didn't get interviewed. It wasn't any pomp, wasn't any fanfare. She wouldn't talk to anybody. She just wanted to go and support a woman who was trying to make it, and she was recognizing other exceptional genius talent, and she was doing it in her own soft way.
Cool.
Right. Which I think is amazing. The versions of the stories that are out there, like she stormed into the manager's office and she, threatened them that she was going to do away with their business and so on and so forth. All that's bullshit. This was basically one woman helping another woman out. And Ella Fitzgerald, there's actually a quote that Ella Fitzgerald said after Marilyn Monroe passed. She was an unusual woman, a little ahead of her time, and she didn't even know it.
Yeah,
and she always appreciated that Marilyn Monroe helped her with her career and helped launch Ella Fitzgerald, right? So I wouldn't say, radical for the time. I would say, what do you call it?
I mean, it sounds like she was like being an activist of
That's
her time, but not being an activist really, truly. It was just her being herself.
That's it.
She wanted to support another woman and
yes.
didn't maybe like that people were treating other people unfairly.
Yes.
An outside the box thinker.
Yeah. So I argue that's radical because she wasn't doing it for herself.
Right.
She didn't want to get recognized. Literally for anything. Well, I thought was totally cool. Okay. And then the last move is like we sort of talked about it already, like with the character piece. This is my whole point that I'm sort of bringing home. And she knew how to make money. She knew the machine needed her to be a certain way to make money. And my argument of why I believe that this is true and not, oh, Peter, are you sure? Here we go. So in 1959, she makes this movie, Some Like It Hot.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Which essentially was another movie about her being a dumb blonde again. Okay. But if you watch this movie, she plays it so good. She can't be that dumb. She's totally bullshitting us. And she knows she's doing it the whole time. Bear with me. So one of her co-stars, Tony Curtis, super famous dude at the time. There's this famous quote from him. He says, "Working with her was incredibly frustrating. She kept forgetting her lines. In one scene alone, literally dozens and dozens of times. And it was only 3 words. Where's the bourbon? I mean, how do you screw that up?" That's what he said. So here's, why am I telling you this? Here's the argument. She didn't screw up "where's the bourbon" 50 times. She didn't. She was doing it because she wanted people to think that she was dumb in real life. Because Tony Curtis got to the set and was playing a character on the set. She got to the set, was already playing her character before the camera rolled. So in order for her to do that, she had to screw up the line 50 times. So people would go, geez, she really is that dumb. She wasn't that dumb at all. Like zero. She was just playing into the machine, making sure that people were like, oh, okay, perfect. She's doing what we need her to do. You follow what I'm saying? Like she was milking the system that thought it was milking her. This is my judo flip here.
Yeah, it's giving her back the power from what was taken from her.
Absolutely.
For being this iconic dumb blonde.
Right. So, I mean, she had a choice to make, right? She could have absolutely just been like, oh, whatever, I'm not really dumb and here's what's going on and I'm going to try to make my way in a career. But I would argue she recognized everything that was going on around. So go back to the whole first point where she leveraged a production studio to make her money. Who does that? What woman goes and does that in 1940? I'm telling you, she was
just wicked smart, man.
No, she totally was wicked smart. And so all these things I'm talking about get absolutely skipped because all people remember, certainly guys, is
how pretty she was.
1953
boobs.
Playboy boobs, right? Hugh Hefner. Do you know the boobs story? Do you know that story?
No.
Do you think she posed for Playboy?
Yeah, didn't she?
She didn't.
What?
Nope. So it was 1949. She needed to pay rent. You know how much she got paid for it? $50 in 1949. Forgot the guy's name. Something. I don't know. Anyway, Hugh Hefner in 1953 wants to start Playboy and buys the rights to those pictures, puts them
from the guy.
From the guy. Has nothing to do with Marilyn Monroe. She signed all the rights away when she took the picture. $50.
Wow.
Yeah. She didn't know any better. So I'm going to argue, again, very smart woman, she could have absolutely lost her shit in 1953 when those pictures came out. And she didn't.
She rode the wave.
And she rode the wave, right. And she didn't say like, oh, look at me and look at all my womanness either. She was just awesome about it. They are what they are. They're out there. It is what it is. And I'm going to keep moving on. And I would argue helped catapult her career because of the way she even decided to handle that. It could have been terrible. And I know I'm nuancing this, but I'm arguing some women lean into that even more. And they're like, oh my God, look at my sexuality. She wasn't really doing that at all. She was just like, that happened. I'm dealing with the fact that it happened. I'm not going to give them what they want one way or the other, and they're going to be screwed as a result of it. And so totally worked to her advantage because she just powered through.
But that had to come at like a cost to her, though.
It totally came at
because,
a cost.
Mentally,
her whole life did.
Emotionally,
yes. Yeah, so like this is what I do,
tragic.
right? I go down these rabbit holes and I find out all this good stuff about all these people. And they're amazing and they do all these awesome things and they come right.
The Debbie Downer. Here we go.
It is kind of the Debbie Downer. So that was all the good parts. But the bad parts are like, okay, so let's
super
start
bad, a little bad.
Well, let's start with she overdosed and killed herself. Right? There's that. Right? We all know that one.
Well, did she though?
Oh my God! What's your conspiracy theory on this one?
That she was having an affair with the president that she sang the song to,
no.
And she got unalived.
No. What? This is what you know about her? This is terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Not even close. Okay. So let me start with her marriages.
Kennedys.
That's true. Oh my God! There's a little bit that went on there. Okay. Her marriages sucked. Okay, 3 marriages all kind of sucked. So the 21-year-old guy, Jim Doherty.
Yes. What happened to him?
We talked about him. I don't know. He buzzes off to war and she's done with him. Then she marries some.
Obviously, they have to get divorced or something.
Well, whatever. They did get divorced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then she marries some not so famous people. One, Joe DiMaggio, if you know who he is.
I was like, that name sounds
the Yankee
familiar.
Clipper.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Very famous. Very, very famous. The other one, Arthur Miller, also incredibly famous. Playwright, Death of a Salesman. Arthur
Oh,
Miller.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Joe DiMaggio, total controlling freak, wanted to keep her in a little box, just like we were talking about the whole time. So that didn't work out. And then Arthur Miller writes her as a character into one of his plays, but doesn't tell her that. And then she finds a script later. And she's like, wait a second, what did you just write about me? Who do you think I am? And that blew up in his face because he should have probably said oh, I was using you as my muse. Yeah. Bad all the way around. So anyway, yeah, she dies on August 4th, 1962 at her home in Brentwood in Los Angeles. Her housekeeper found her in her bedroom early in the morning. Official ruling, barbiturate poisoning, overdose of sleeping pills.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't, you want to say the theory of JFK, whatever. I mean, I know there's some stuff like Chappaquiddick and some other things that were some bad stuff, but I'm arguing she had a tough life. She was only 36 years old.
Dang.
Something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So sad.
It caught up with her, right? I mean, she grew up from nothing, and then got super famous and was fighting a system that was corrupt and evil. And I think she did awesome and did the best she could. Here's a really sad part.
There's a more sad part.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
So play that forward a little bit more. So it's, I don't remember, 1962.
Okay.
So yeah, so JFK president, civil rights movement, totally getting started, right? Vietnam, feminism, second wave of feminist movement is coming. So I think had she lived, she would have been an iconic leader coming in at just the right time in America, with all of those different things sort of happening and what she could have symbolized with how smart she was and the way she was using all of her leverage. And now all we get is a picture of her on a poster, which I think sucks. So
I'm glad we're doing this podcast so you could objurgate her.
who am I objurgating?
Her image that everyone.
Oh, we're objurgating the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're doing. We're objurgating the patriarchy for the way they handled everything.
She's not just a pretty face.
Jerks.
She was much more.
Jerk store. Right, totally lame.
Speaking of objurgating the patriarchy, what is happening now, right? Earlier you had mentioned that you kind of thought about, well, have we gotten any better? And you said no.
Right. Well, you said no too.
I did say no.
Admittingly, we both said no.
I have my own opinion.
Well, now I want to know your own. I want to know your opinion.
I mean, well, clearly, women are still very much objectified.
Yeah.
And you just take even bathing suits. Still, I mean.
Don't get me started. Right.
How small is,
Ruth's bathing suit?
Yeah.
It's pretty small. Yeah. What are you going to do?
But and that's okay. That's what's expected. And if you don't do it, then you're not cool.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, I'm going to go further than, just going to go further than the sex symbol part. I'm arguing man or woman, but I mean, I'll get back. Yes, objectifying women. I also think we put people in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You could argue you put me in a box. I could argue I put you in a box. It is what it is, right? And we've designed a system in our head on how you are going to show up to me, or how I'm going to show up to you, or how we expect, let's go with our celebrities, to show up to the world. Let me go on the surface. I think about objectifying women. We're doing it again. Sydney Sweeney, crazy. Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, any famous musician right now. And we're doing it all over. It's crazy, right? And then you'd argue some of those women are incredibly smart, using it to their advantage again, much like Marilyn Monroe. You'd argue maybe some of them aren't. I totally get it. But my whole problem with the whole 100th birthday of Marilyn Monroe is, what are we celebrating? Are we celebrating the sex symbol part of her? Or are we celebrating the smart woman part of her?
Right, but it's even just when we talked about Miles last week,
right?
About how, yes, great music, great musician, we're celebrating that piece of it, but also very radical in what he did as well.
Yeah.
And I think if we're going to be celebrating, people's 100th birthdays or, commemorating them at some point, it should be about who they were as a whole person. But I don't think we'll get there.
No, because see, in this case, fun fact, Authentic Brands Group bought the rights to Marilyn Monroe's image in 2011, and they literally are shoving her on everything they can. Whatever it is. It's a fountain pen or a champagne flute. I don't even care. It's everywhere, right? So you're objectifying the hell out of her, and it's take the poster and make millions and millions of dollars. But then the other hand, you have the Academy Museum. There's an exhibition going on for the 100th year celebration where it's they're pulling out all the stops, and you could literally find her letters and her writings and the books that she was reading in her library, and
that just feels better to me.
Well, I know, but I don't think they're doing too much. American Brands Group gets too much play, and like the Academy Museum is getting squat because that's the
It's not
system.
sexy though.
It's right. It's what the system has created. I think my whole takeaway, because I'm trying to like get better at why do we do an episode on Marilyn Monroe. Number one, I want to learn about Marilyn Monroe. Like sometimes I have my own problem with this podcast because part of me is like, oh, we have listeners. And part of me is like, well, I don't know. If I want to learn about something, I'm like, I want to learn about something. I know nothing about Marilyn Monroe, so we're going to learn about Marilyn Monroe. But like, go back to like we put people in a box. I think that's the takeaway is everybody is a more complicated version of themselves that they're willing to admit.
Right, but it's not even just the people who are celebrities. I mean,
no,
your
that's
boss,
what I'm saying. You and I, like, there's a part of me.
Your boss
yes.
is more complicated. They have a life outside of work.
Yes.
Everybody does.
Yes.
The grocer that you see isn't just a grocer.
Yes.
They live a whole life.
They only give you snippets into their life based on sort of how I call it passing tests. I think we've talked about this before, like who's passing my test, which is terrible to say. I understand, but it's the easiest way for me to sort of have people visualize this. And as a result of that, I've decided where I put people. And I think when I said I learned something like pretty profound at the end of this, it's like I want to, number one, allow more people to be their more authentic self in front of me, which means I have to do a whole lot of work fighting against the system that is created, right? I mean, I'm a white male. It's the patriarchy. Like people look at me a certain way. I'm 50 years old. That stereotype has to be turned way down for people to trust that I want to see them as authentic, right? And then two, I want to be able to be authentic in front of people. Because if we can do that, those relationships, I will give you a ton of credit. I would argue that's a relationship that I have with you that I think is only gotten better. And Amanda, we've gone through some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like way better because you let me be authentic. And I know I try really hard to let you be authentic. And it's, wow. Like talk about learning a lot, but like, I'm sitting here learning about Marilyn Monroe and I'm thinking about you while I'm learning about Marilyn Monroe, which makes me feel like I might be onto something, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that was like my whole, what I was trying to learn.
An encouragement to everyone to take it another step besides the just like face value.
Right.
Right? Like,
hey,
I see you every week. So great to see you again.
But
how's your life? Like really?
Right.
You know?
And especially when you go take it back to Marilyn Monroe and objectifying. So now you see the woman for the first time in the bathing suit, in the bikini, on the beach. And you're like, wait, what do I have to do? I have to learn what about? Like, I'm not saying it's complicated for a man. I'm saying men have to do a better job. Just point, period, paragraph. Better fucking job. Recognizing that there's so much more. And that was like, whammo, holy shit. Hit me, it like square across the face. Anyway, I learned a lot. That was it. That's what I got. That's our episode. That's a wrap. I hope we all learned something about Marilyn Monroe. I think she's awesome.
Skipping fun facts because I bet there's a ton of Marilyn Monroe.
We're not skipping fun facts. No.
That's a wrap. I was like, oh no.
We're not going to skip. We're not going to skip fun facts. We'll do fun facts. That was just like episode wrap.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we use object? We did.
I did. I threw it in there. I don't know if it worked, but awesome. It was there. Yeah. It was there.
So when you were just talking and we said objurgate a few times, I was like, we've already had this word. So I just went back and looked. We didn't. Thank God. It was obdurate.
Oh.
Obdurate with a B. Not objurgate.
Funny.
I was almost had a heart attack. I'm like, did we just use a same word twice? We did not. Check tape, people. We're good. Okay. Fun fact number 1. Here we go. So besides being the first to pose for Playboy, she appeared on the cover of Life magazine. Want to guess how many times?
3.
No, not 3. 7.
7.
7 times on Life magazine. Yes. No
for
actress.
What?
No actress in 1950. For what?
Just for like
for all her movies.
Is it just movies?
Yes.
Because sometimes you're on Life for other things.
No, right?
Okay,
she was literally like, she was 1950. She was absolutely. Yeah. Unbelievable. 7 times. Okay. Number 2, she was not a natural blonde.
Yes.
She was a brunette.
Didn't know that.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Platinum blonde thing. Totally engineered, bleached, shaped, and styled.
Wow.
Every week.
I mean, it does cost a lot to look that good.
Yeah, it does. That's what she used it to get. That was it.
Yeah.
Into the room where it happens.
Yep.
The room. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3. Did you know Marilyn Monroe was clinically diagnosed with both anxiety and what doctors called at the time emotional instability?
Oh.
And still showed up and still made 30 films in 15 years. 30. Yes. So while simultaneously running her production company, negotiating studio contracts, studying method acting, and reading Tolstoy, and having like hundreds of books in her library, I'm arguing whatever the opposite of like her diagnosis is, that's what she was doing. So like leaning into everything that was awesome. She was doing her own therapy.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
But
she did have the cards stacked against her because
She
her
did.
mom
I know.
had some issues.
I know.
But-
That wasn't. Oh, God. What a story. Okay. Number 4. She converted to Judaism when she married Arthur Miller because he was a Jew.
Yep,
yes,
yep,
in
yep.
1956. And even after they divorced, she stayed Jewish for the rest of her life.
Oh.
Who would have known? Yeah. She reportedly said it, quote, felt like coming home. The press, because they never gave her any credit for anything, said it was a total publicity stunt. She never commented in perfect Marilyn Monroe fashion, never commented about it to anyone.
Left the mind wondering.
Yes, kept it totally private. I love that. I love that about her. Okay, number 5, Joe DiMaggio,
Yep.
our Yankee Clipper, yes, had roses delivered to her grave 3 times a week for 20 years
Wow.
after she died. 20 years. And he never got remarried. He was asked later in life why he never got remarried. And he reportedly said, because I had the best.
Wow.
Which, depending on how you look at it, either means that's the most romantic thing you've ever heard or the saddest possible thing because he tried to keep her in her own little box forever in that own whatever.
Maybe
Anyway,
he learned his lesson.
I don't know. Good old Joe
Karma's a
DiMaggio.
bitch.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I wish you were a
Sorry.
Seinfeld fan right now.
Sorry. No.
You're not a Seinfeld fan. There was a famous Seinfeld where Joe
It's
DiMaggio's
because I
in
didn't get all the jokes.
he dunks his donuts. Okay. And finally, real quick for her 100th birthday, because I don't think we really went through what we're doing. So the Academy Museum exhibition, like I talked about, officially is already open. It's going to run for 9 months. Costumes, letters, production, documents, personal items, everything. And another group called the Heritage Auctions is releasing a collection of her stuff never before seen to the public. So handwritten letters, personal poetry, watercolor painting. She dabbled in watercolor. Yeah. It's all straight from her estate. So
That's cool.
And out here in Palm Springs, they are trying to do a Guinness Book of World Record where they're bringing as many imitation lookalikes together as they can to take a picture so they can enter the Guinness Book of World Records. I don't know when they're doing that or whatever. But anyway, that's all I got on Marilyn for Fun Facts. Fun Facts out.
I love it. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, if we want to learn anything else or be a part of, I know you mentioned a couple things for the 100th celebration.
Yep.
Where can we check out these exhibitions?
Check them out. First, if you want fun facts or the episode summary delivered to your inbox, DM us on Instagram. We're going to send them out. Thank you for supporting the show. First, go watch Some Like It Hot, like tonight. Go. You have homework.
Okay.
Right? I know you were talking about Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, but go watch this one because it's seriously one of the funniest movies ever made. Super fun fact. Do you know it is considered the single greatest American comedy ever made, according to the American Film Institute?
Oh.
Something like that. I know, right? That was the one with Where's the Bourbon?
Oh.
That was the line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And it's considered the greatest movie. Thank you very much. So, so you tell
Go
me.
watch it.
You tell me if she didn't know what she was doing. Okay? Right. Second, the movie channel, like I said, is going to play all her movies all month long. So whatever. Watch whatever you want. Just put on TMC in the background. It'll be awesome. And then if you're in Los Angeles, go to the Academy Museum exhibition. It's called Marilyn Monroe Hollywood Icon. Like I said, it's open through 2027. It's got all her stuff. Yeah. So that's like all I got. Go do one of those 3 things.
Well, and if you don't really want to do any of that, just remember these details to sound sort of sophisticated. Number 1, Marilyn Monroe was born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1st, 1926 in Los Angeles, California. She grew up through 12 foster homes and even had a stint in an orphanage for just a little while, so not really a glamorous story, but a survival story. Number 2, she got married when she turned 16 to avoid going back to the orphanage, and 2 years later, she was discovered by a photographer in a munitions factory during World War II because her husband was off to war. She built her persona from scratch by studying photographs for herself and learning what the camera wanted. Number 3, in 1954, at the absolute peak of her fame, she walked out on 20th Century Fox, went peace out, and she moved to New York to study method acting and founded her own production company. Then she came back to Hollywood and forced them to renegotiate her contract on her terms. Legendary and brilliance, all in one.
Total legend.
Number 4, she owned a personal library of over 400 books.
You like that one, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
It's like she's like the real life Belle, but blonde. She read Tolstoy on set, studied philosophy at UCLA, and was described by Truman Capote as having one of the most interesting minds I've ever encountered.
See? That's my point, right? They were like best friends.
Yeah.
Who says that?
He admired her.
He did.
And she admired him. Mutual respect. Number 5, she won the Golden Globe for Best Actress for her role in Some Like It Hot, which, by the way, thanks to Pete, we all know the American Film Institute calls the single greatest American comedy ever made. And finally, she died at 36. She made 30 films in 15 years and quietly used her fame to do right by people the world was ignoring. All while everyone around her was convinced they were the ones pulling the string. The dumb blonde was the smartest person in the room the whole time.
Amen.
And the room never figured it out.
Perfect. There you have it, dear listeners. We started with a woman the world spent a century reducing down to one image and spent the whole episode trying to put the actual person back together. She was an actress the world shoved into a box, but she was a human being who refused to stay in it. If we did our job today, you're not just walking away with a Hollywood education. You're walking away with a question, because we like our questions, about who in your life you've decided you already know, about whether the people closest to you are being allowed to be their full, complicated selves, or just the version of them that's easiest for you to deal with. And as always, if you liked what you listened to, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends, because that helps us a ton. Until next time, stay curious, stay glamorous, just like Marilyn. And remember, the blonde was always the costume. Go find out who's underneath.